Coach, first of all, we got word on who's in, who's out. How do you want to maintain it? Who's going to fill, particularly the starting roles tonight for you?
Well, the number one thing is we're going to come in with the same attitude. It's all about our habits and trying to get better and get into our identity. We have a deep team for a reason, and we never know or can predict what will happen in the playoffs, and this is a perfect example of it. This was unforeseen. Mario now hasn't had a lot of progress actually in the last couple of days, so we'll just have to slowly see how he feels day by day. Dwayne retweaked about every minor injury he had in the New Orleans game. You could see it. Half the game he was on the floor. LJ obviously tightened up his hamstring. I didn't put him back in the fourth quarter. So the starting lineup likely will be Norris, Mike, Richard, CB, and UD. Now, UD has to get warmed up and see how he feels, with his foot.
You touched on the opportunity here of guys who get the opportunity to step in and I don't want to say knock the rust off of them, but putting them in those competitive opportunities that could, like you said, come up in 2 weeks from now.
Right. And again, we made a definitive decision during the offseason to bolster a championship team with more depth, and this is one of the reasons why. Number one, those guys came here to be a part of something unique and special. But secondly, to have opportunities like this against elite-level teams, and likely during the playoffs when you don't know when your number is going to be called, but then you're going to be expected to play at a high level. These guys are veteran players. They've seen everything. They've kept themselves sharp. And they'll be thrown in the fire tonight. But, these are all good experiences for us.
It's interesting, when the Heat and the Spurs played in late November, Popovich, as we mentioned, arrested his stars. Last night, Erik Spoelstra does the same thing. What message is he sending, Chris?
I think there was definitely a little gamesmanship there. I think if Popovich doesn't do that in November, I don't think there's any question that LeBron James and Dwayne Wade probably play last night. But at the same time, those guys were a little bit banged up. We know they went through the 27-game streak. We knew when it ended they were going to begin resting players. Dwayne Wade legitimately tweaked his ankle against Chicago. I was even at that game. And Mario Chalmers sat out Friday's game against New Orleans. So it was just about getting these guys rest and also tweaking the Spurs just a little bit. And the fact that they won is just icing on the cake.
Well, the Spurs were lucky enough to get to write a check after that incident. They were fined $250,000 when they sent home their stars. So it does beg the question, will the league look into this?
No, not at all. The league, I've talked to the league, they say it's not even close to being the same thing. Remember, Greg Popovich and the Spurs sent Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Danny Green home before the game on a commercial flight. So there was no, it was totally different than what the Heat did. LeBron James, Wade, and Bosh, they were at the game last night, watched it from the locker room. And again, they're legitimately banged up a bit. A lot of executives think that David Stern, even though they can understand what he did with the Spurs in November, that he set a bad precedent back in November. If they were to even think about finding them last night, it would be a horrible precedent to set, because then you're telling the team how to manage its players.
Well, the Heat are 3 games up on the Spurs for home court throughout the playoffs with 9 games to play. How will they manage their stars down the stretch?
I think you're going to see more of this. Not like they'll sit out the last 9 games, and they'll be different. LeBron may play one night, Wade will sit out, and vice versa. Bosh will get his rest. Remember last year, Chris Bosh sat out the last 6 games. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James sat out 3 of the final 4 games, and they went through some tough training just together in practice and stuff to get ready for the playoffs. But you don't want to lose your edge. You don't want to get guys going into the playoffs complacent, so you have to be careful with it. But Erik Spoelstra will certainly use what he calls his maintenance plan and sit these guys at opportune times.
Chris Broussard, thank you. The latest from around the NBA.
Pop, no LeBron James, no Dwayne Wade tonight. Mario Chalmers is out. Does that change anything?
I can't believe anybody would do something like that.
Can you believe that? Poor. Can you believe that?
Who would think of something like that?
No idea. Would you ever do anything like that?
Those kinds of things don't even go through my head.
Does it change any of the preparation going into the game tonight?
No, you just have to, at this point in the season, each of us is who we are, so to speak, and you're just trying to refine your game and hone it. So we'll do the same things we would do as if everybody was playing.
Best of luck tonight, Pop. Thank you.